Hey everyone, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today we're going to be checking out and showing you how to install the Optronics LED identification light bar. This light bar is designed for trailers that are over 80 inches wide, and I believe it's a requirement, at least in the majority of the states, to have a light bar like this if your trailer is wider than that. That's not to say that you can't use it on a trailer more narrow. You know, I mean, you can put this wherever you want, really, whatever you're trying to do. It's most popular in an area like this, kind of down low on the trailer, or some people put them up top above their doors if they have an enclosed trailer, something along those lines. I mean, you can get creative. The nice setup with this is the fact that these are LED, and these are individual lights as well. So, as many of you probably know, LEDs are kind of the a much needed improvement over your traditional incandescent type bulb, right? They're just way brighter. So I mean, you can notice in a well-lit garage like this, these things are still throwing off quite a bit of light. There's 3 individual LEDs for each one of these lights here. And the cool thing with LEDs is they use less amperage, so they're cooler. They just handle road shock and stuff a little bit better. You know, on a trailer, it's usually taking a beating kind of. And so you don't have a brittle filament in there like an incandescent bulb that can break and rattle loose and whatnot. And these are also going to be submersible, right? So like on a boat trailer, it's pretty important. With that said though, I do suggest if you're gonna submerge some, turn off the power to them just to be on the safe side. That way, you know, they're not lit up whenever you're going into the water. With that all said though, probably wondering if this is going to work with your application. So we'll go ahead and just talk about a couple of the measurements here. As far as the length of it, so from end to end, it's going to be 15 inches and 15/16 of an inch. So literally just short of 16 inches. In terms of the height, it's going to be 1.5 inches. As far as the thickness, it's going to be 1 5/8 inches. And then your bolt holes, where you secure it, from center line to center line, that's going to be 7.5 inches. Something pretty cool with these being individual lights. Let's say if one ever does go bad, or you bust one, or whatever the case may be, you know, you can replace these individually, and so you don't have to buy a whole new light strip and go through all that again. So pretty cool there. In terms of, you know, comparing this one to some of the other ones out there, it's almost hard to. I mean, obviously being LED has its advantage over the incandescent bulbs, but as far as the other LED ones, they're all pretty much about the same. You know, this one's pretty well built. There are ones that have a metal, so this is almost like a plastic housing here. And there's other ones that are metal and made from different materials. So if that's something you're into, you can check those out. Really just depends on what you're doing. You know, if you're super hard on your trailers, that might be a better option. With this being a boat trailer, the plastic makes sense, you know, it doesn't rust. But other than that, at the end of the day, a nice replacement or even upgrade for some of you guys. And in terms of getting this installed, super easy. You know, 2 screws secure it, and there's 2 wires to hook up. You got your power wire and your ground wire. So if you like to hang around and see how that's done, feel free to. We'll go ahead and install this one together now. To begin our installation, you need to first figure out where you want to mount up your light. So in our case, we used to have one previously mounted right here on our boat trailer, but they put this coating on it and got some of this on the lights when they did that. So we're going to replace it with our brand new one. And so pretty straightforward. This is just going to bolt right up, but we are going to have to wire it in. So we're going to have 2 wires total that we need to hook up. So the first wire will be this brown one coming out of our light, and they give you quite a bit of length of it actually. You don't need to use nearly all of that. So I'm gonna remove some of it, get that out of the way, and then strip back the insulation. And I like to use heat shrink type butt connectors. These will just be make for a better connection, and the ends seal up to help with corrosion and stuff. So slide that over the bare end of the wire and crimp it down. And then here's our existing wiring. So this is going to go right into there. We'll crimp it down. And then I'll come back with my heat source and seal up the ends. With that connection made, I did take some electrical tape, just taped it up real good, give us an extra layer of protection there, and then I'm going to feed our wire, let extra slack into the trailer frame, and our other wires is ground wire. It has this pre-attached ring terminal, and what you can do with this, if you want to run it outside and bolt it directly to the frame, you can, but since we need to screw this into the frame anyway, I'm just going to do one of these deals, and that should be a sufficient ground there when our bolt makes contact with that and pushes it against our frame. So we'll see with this undercoating on. If it doesn't work, we can always take it off and move it, but I'm going to try not to damage this new undercoating here. But we should be pretty good. I'm going to take some self-tapping screws, put them through, and when you're doing this, make sure that you don't, nick your wires that run through there as well. And on the screws, I did put a little drop of anti-seize as well. That way, if you ever have to remove this in years to come, it hopefully won't be completely rusted out and everything. So I'm gonna feed our wires in, make sure everything's tucked in there good. Line it up with our existing holes there. Come back and snug these down. With all that hooked up, we can test it to make sure that it works. So I just hooked up to a test box. You can also use your truck, but if your truck has any issues, keep in mind it could be related to that. But with that said, we'll go ahead and turn on our taillights, make sure these power up, which everything looks like it's working good. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Optronics LED identification light bar.